into the nitty-gritty behind monsters from different lore. However, there is a general focus on D&D.
We are players and DMs, so we draw from our experience with different tabletop RPGs, and we tend to go off on tangents every so often.
If you're looking for facts and historical value, this may not be the podcast for you. But if you love discussing monsters and all of their potential, just for fun, then we got you covered.
Adult content warning, and with all that out of the way, my name is Dylan, and I'm joined once again by my two brave monster hunters.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Melina.
And this is Mornings with Monsters.
Awesome. Today we are discussing the creepy underwater humanoid menacing Kappa. Tell me about it, guys.
The Kappa.
It's a weird mythological creature.
Well, I don't think any of us knew too much about this little guy before deciding to pick him, other than what he kind of looked like.
I didn't even know what he looked like. We normally decide right after we record our previous episodes. So I've only known for like a week. Okay, fine, 2 weeks. We can break the illusion that we record once a week.
If you guys are in the same boat, and we are, obviously monster experts who didn't really know this monster, it's Japanese in origin. It's really, really old. It's one of the yokai, the big three. It is a river spirit. It's a little turtle-like humanoid with a depression in its head, where it holds water. It has beak. It's sometimes depicted with the shell on its back, sometimes not, depending on the region of Japan that it comes from. They're scaly, they're green, and they're mean.
Sometimes.
That's true.
I mean, I don't know, because like most of the stuff that I researched were very clear in being like, if you rip off a Kappa's arm, or if you trick it to get all of the water out of its head, like they will pretty much do whatever you want.
Yeah, which is it's such a conflicting thing, right? Because it loves playing games and sumo wrestling, but to sumo wrestle, it has to bow, and that loses all of its power. Yeah, it's like it loves doing the activity that forces it to.
In the crevice on its head, it holds the water from its homeland, and that gives it its power, like its strength and cunningness, or whatever the fuck. So
probably also its adherence to freaking good polite manners.
Are you? I mean, see, I don't even know that, because it's like maybe like when the water is in its head, you have the ability to befriend it, and then when the water gets spilled out or it's weak, then you just have the ability to like enslave it, essentially.
I can see that. Yeah. I mean, like they can't really do anything without the water.
Like, not that they're like extraordinarily unhappy. Like you could enslave it, and like or you could just like control it and be like, you're now my creature. Sure, you could possibly befriend it, but I'm guessing it wouldn't genuinely be your friend. It would just be like a docile creature that knows it doesn't have the strength to not be your friend.
I heard a couple of things that were saying that like you could actually befriend one like normal.
Yeah.
And it would like the medicine ones. That was really interesting, where like people who wanted to be doctors or something will go and like figure out a way to befriend a Kappa, just so like the Kappa will share its extensive natural medicine knowledge.
Yeah, the Kappa are genuinely credited for a lot of stuff in Japan, like early medicine treatments, like setting broken bones. Like the knowledge of setting broken bones in Japan is like, hey, the Kappas came up with that, and they didn't teach us until we stole one of their arms, and then we gave it back to them, and then they were indebted to them. But my goodness, they build stuff. There's literal like places in Japan where like they say the Kappa's built, and like a lot of stuff like that. They're
Yeah.
all over the place in Japanese culture.
It almost feels like the Japanese version of the Cyclops, but that like didn't get buried under shame.
Yeah,
I can see
honestly.
that, yeah. Well, and it says like the other than medicine, one of their biggest contributions to like helping human society would be like their ability to help with like irrigation, and then
Yeah, that makes sense.
just
like
read
the crops and stuff.
yeah, well, because you think about it, in like Japan, it's like a lot of that land is used for like growing. So
Yeah,
yeah,
rice
they could help.
paddies, underwater farms, stuff like that.
They can help irrigate the land, and then I believe it's regarded as a mark of good fortune if a family receives like fish from Kappa,
Yeah. Yep. Like if
which
they leave a family a gift of fish, it's like, oh shit, that's in well standing. You know what I mean?
we're not gonna.
And then did you guys hear what their favorite food is? Cucumbers?
Force.
Yeah, cucumbers. Weird.
Hold on. In Japanese lore, it's cucumbers. In D&D lore, it's horse meat.
Yeah,
No way.
It is
Yeah.
horse meat. Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
And I read horse meat first, and then I read cucumbers, and I was like, very different. Very different.
That's so funny. I wonder what Japanese people will say when they read the D&D lore, and they're like, no.
They're like, no,
Oh,
not right. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we get some of that too. Like,
Yeah.
the way you think of certain monsters, they aren't depicted the same way in D&D. Especially like if people don't know anything about D&D dragons, and then they come into D&D dragons, like they're like, wait, what? They could talk and turn into humans, and
A
Yes.
lot. Yeah.
I think it's hilarious, actually. That's one of the biggest things I encounter when I am telling my friends about D&D and like about the campaigns, is when we encounter creatures that they are aware that are creatures, whether mythical or like real, that are, based on something. They're like, wait, that shit can talk? D&D, you can talk to it?
yeah,
I was like, yeah, you talk to pretty much anything if you believe hard.
Have the language.
yeah. It's rare
If you
not to be.
believe.
Yeah, if you believe hard enough. Roll for belief.
Yes.
Like everything
Religion.
pretty much at least understands a language, if not speaks one of the many languages. But even if it doesn't, you can link minds with it. You can cast
Awaken
tongues.
it.
Put
Yeah.
googly eyes of sentience. on it.
Yeah, you can literally talk to a weed in someone's backyard if you want.
Yeah.
Speak
There's
to
so many
non-sentient
stuff
things,
things.
although what and what isn't sentience in D&D is
That's a philosophical
Abstract,
question that
yeah.
could take a whole episode.
oh, for sure.
We'll do many episodes that describe the actual language of D&D. How's that, guys? No. Okay, so this Kappa though, I think I'm kind of excited because as far as D&D goes, the last time that a Kappa was given like stat blocks was 3rd edition.
Oh wow.
So with like D&D opening up to the Japanese culture, I think we're gonna get this huge influx whenever they do end up doing like releasing, because I think they're in the works with like a 5.5 or something, or
Yeah, they are.
a 6th edition. I can't remember. But whether I hope they do a 5.5, because I think 5th edition everybody's loving right now. But
I
if
think
they
that's
do like
why.
a 6th edition that draws in a lot of like the advances that we're going to get from Japanese culture being introduced to D&D in the way that it is, because I think we've already talked about it. If you have not watched the trailer for D&D for Japan, fucking go watch it. It's so amazing. I don't know what I thought I was watching, but I was just like, this is incredible.
I cried.
I know you.
Yeah, I guess this is our like shout out to Japan a little bit now that they're entering the D&D world.
I mean,
Doing one of
welcome and good adventures, because we are very excited to watch what comes out of you. Like,
Yeah.
Hail and
stoked.
well met, travelers. No, for sure.
Oh,
I'm
you're
super.
finally
Doing lots of monks.
Yeah, honestly, we could get a whole new monster manual just from all the crazy stuff out of Japan. I mean, they have
Honest.
I'm kinda
so
hoping
many
that's where we're going,
awesome
man.
things. I mean, guarantee like anyone that picks up D&D wants to make new stuff or add stuff that's not already in the game, because we can never be content with the unlimited content there already is. I mean,
Absolutely.
the Kappa, for example, is really, really cool. I think we'll get some cool stuff out of them. I think
Yeah, it would be fun to. Oh, never mind. We'll address that later.
yeah, I mean, yeah, we don't.
Getting ahead of myself.
I know what
getting
you're talking
too
about.
excited.
Yeah, no, the yokai and the ghosts and like the undead spirits and stuff that they have are really, really interesting. So,
So
I'm
many
super excited to see what comes out of that. Especially like maybe translated modules and stuff might be really cool. Like if they're
That'd be
making
cool.
full blown like Japanese modules, and then they, I'm sure they will, right? There's a lot of really,
I
really
hope so.
creative
Wow.
people.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I'd love to play in like.
And I would assume that that's how they're getting D&D now. Like they'll be getting translated module
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure there's
Sure.
from
D&D
English.
that exists there in like translated shit already, but
Mm-hmm.
oh my god, I can't wait for it to be the opposite. Like
Yeah, now we just gotta wait for the other way.
I
Right,
want to translate their shit.
Exactly. Yeah.
Give us
I mean,
the
if you
imports.
just think about it, and it's like, as far as like imaginative storylines and creatures, it's like every culture does it to an extent. But I don't know, like maybe it's just because like they have such a huge presence in the media, and like I had a childhood and
Pop culture
adulthood
and
that
stuff.
like has had a big presence of like anime and animated shows and movies and blah, blah, like, and like Miyazaki is my favorite animator, like, so it's, I feel like there's already like, I kind of lost my train of thought, not gonna lie, but like
It's a huge expansive world of creativity that, as in so much as D&D, we haven't really tapped into it yet. You know, like
exactly, it's like all of this shit already
we're all very
exists.
influenced by it. Yeah. Yep. But
I
not for
can't
D&D
wait to see what
specifically.
they do
I'm
with
excited
their
for like
hands.
a couple years from now. We're gonna get a big wave of like TTRPG isekai, where like people
Oh,
are
yeah.
like getting sucked into role playing games instead of video games.
Oh yeah.
Like
Oh,
I
yeah. I'm
guarantee
hoping for that.
that's gonna
I'm hoping for
happen.
that.
Yeah, no, that would be super cool. In fact, I might
mean,
make
I
that. No, that would be.
I feel like Sword Art is like such a close thing already. Like for me personally, like that was probably the first like, what is that? I don't.
That's my intro anime too. Like I don't really count Dragon Ball Z because I was like a child, you know.
Yeah.
But like Sword Art was definitely like I want to do that.
Yeah.
I want
And
to get locked in a game, please.
it's a good mix between game life and um it not being fully like a game. Like they made you like learn cooking skills and all that stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, I just think it's so fun. I don't know. Like, and I'm not a video game person, so I know like you guys have more relation to playing the games and seeing an anime like that. But for me, I relate it completely to like being thrown into a D&D realm as a human. And
Log
I'm like,
Horizon
oh my
was
god,
better.
What is it?
Log Horizon, much better.
Log.
Oh, I
Horizon.
should watch that.
Yeah, you should.
Is it in the same vein?
Oh yeah, they get sucked into the same kind of like MMORPG, except for they stay in the same one, and they have to level up,
good.
and then they end up doing like raids and stuff by season 3.
That does sound
But
So
that's
can we talk about the weird part of the Kappa that they've like devolved into such a like chibi pocket monster?
cute little guys everywhere.
And they're like everybody's mascot. Like
Uh-huh.
every company like has a
Everyone
Kappa
loves them. They are
as their
like,
mascot. It's so funny.
yeah. I mean, they're strange, like because they have such a like they're such a menace, you know.
Yeah, I
And
mean whether you feared them or respected them, like
Oh my god.
they like stopped kind of being that and now are like disseminated into pop culture like little
everywhere. Yeah, they're
little sprites.
super cute.
Yeah.
I thought they would be
I think
interesting.
I've seen these before, and I
You
didn't.
have.
Only ever seen the like chibi version of it.
Yeah, the cute
Yep.
little green guy with the
Yep.
weird looking hair thing.
In fact, did you know a fun fact I learned yesterday is that Bowser from Mario is literally like a Kappa in that some versions of Bowser's name literally means Kappa.
Yeah,
Like
Koopa King,
that there are no
Kappa,
Mhm.
pretty close.
No difference. And like
Okay, but that makes sense based on the way he looks. It's just a
oh yeah.
He's just
100%.
he doesn't have the weakness, which is why he's the king.
Yeah. Yep. Which is great.
Can't
he's just
play-
furry instead of scaly.
Some
Oh,
of
no, he's
them.
scaly.
Yeah, he's scaly. He's got a big old like 80s hairdo.
Mm-hmm.
But
I forgot about the bouffant.
yeah. It's pretty epic. Yeah, I mean they're basically like another I don't want to say like
He's-
Pikachu, you know, but they are huge, you know.
They
They're
are
cute.
kind of,
Everyone knows, everyone's seen it.
but like not just a single version, you know, which I kind of
Yeah.
like better. You know,
Mhm.
like it's like if everybody was responsible kind of for being able to draw like a new version of Pikachu while it being Pikachu, you know?
yeah, just based on the like
Yeah,
simple
exactly.
description.
And then like all of a sudden, like, oh cool, that's your new logo, and it's like totally accepted. Nintendo won't come after you.
Yeah. You can't make an electrified rat. But you can make a Kappa. No, they're cool. I feel like I've seen them a bunch without realizing I've seen them a bunch, you know.
100%. Yeah.
I think I knew, like, I hadn't seen them as much as I had heard about them, and I mean, especially now that you're throwing Bowser in there, I'm like, yeah, that makes
Oh,
a million sense.
everyone's
So
seen
much
Bowser.
sense. Everyone's seen Bowser. Yeah. Especially like the wrestling aspect of it.
Yeah,
100%.
they're very ingrained in like a lot of like super popular and super like classic Japanese activities, so it makes sense. I mean, and just kind of the concept of them, I think, makes sense that they're so popular. To me, they're kind of like the fairy tale you tell your children. Maybe not so much anymore, but like they to me seemed like they served a big important purpose. Like they basically were a warning of the dangers of the river, and you know, like you don't jump in the river by yourself as a child because there's kappas, but really it's just because it's dangerous, you know.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Yeah.
it's kind of like to me it feels like something like
boogeyman.
Little Red Riding Hood, like being another
Right.
thing for don't read a book by its cover. It's just another lesson to be learned through a creative and memorable way.
While also being like, don't fucking go there, kid.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, I'm sure it was dangerous. I'm sure it probably still is if you don't know what you're doing. But
Right. I don't fuck with rivers.
I mean, there's so many things throughout history that like have just been like vilified. Yes.
yeah,
That have been vilified just so we stay away, and like even now we're just learning and researching them because people were so scared of the stigma for years that it's like people just want certain things to be evil, so everyone just stays away because it's easier.
Yeah. Look at volcanoes. The way that we to write about volcanoes and like deify them, you know,
Always
with
the
terrible
gods.
demon names and stuff. Yeah. But now it's
I
like,
would think it was the gods too.
Mount
did you
Olympus.
see
Yeah.
like when the volcano in Iceland was like going off for like 45 days in a row? And like people were just like going down there and like chilling, watching the lava like expand and shit. Because we all know so much about science now that like
We know
we
how
we
it
know what
is.
is, yeah, and how that's going down and like when and where we can do things like that. It's
Yeah.
pretty interesting, you know?
I would still be terrified of, like, I would still be terrified of going and watching something like that, just because it's like,
Well,
I don't know, like, I feel like it's like, let me drive into this, like, collision so I can see the collision. Like, oh my,
well, it depends on how
like, I know
violent
there's
it's.
safe distances, but it's like,
Yeah.
that's one thing I've always, like, I always get on, like, especially anime, because it's the easiest way to do it. Like, things standing so close to fucking lava, and I was like, you'd be dead. You'd be fucking dead.
It depends.
I don't know,
It
like,
depends. Like
People
there's
walk
a
all over like molten lava basically
Yeah.
that has like a thin crust. And as
That's
long as
true, but like flowing lava typically doesn't have a thin crust on
I
top.
don't know.
but they don't, but people aren't like walking on that, but you can
Yeah.
walk right next to it and be fine.
Yeah, I saw Bill Nye poke it with a stick before.
Yeah, like you can walk
Maybe I
next to
have a
lava.
weird concept of how hot lava is.
No, I mean,
Like it is very hot, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
it still
But it
takes
doesn't
like
radiate.
no, it doesn't like consume all the oxygen that there is. And that's the part that it would be dangerous. Like when it
Okay, so
starts
I
to
think,
like you
yeah,
know,
that's where I
really
had the
consume and then become fire, but it's not fire, it's lava.
like
You know what I mean? Like,
if you were standing in
Okay.
Mount Doom, that may be a little unrealistic.
yeah.
yeah.
But if you're outside of
And that
Mount
makes
Doom,
sense because that's yeah, you know, like but like yeah, you know, people are in Hawaii like walking around the lava all
Yeah.
the time, you know, because it literally happens every day.
The more you know.
Yeah. But
Don't
this, I mean, don't touch it.
don't
like,
touch it.
We
Don't
probably
walk
should
on
say,
it.
like, don't please
Disclaimer.
don't play with lava. Yeah, like please don't.
No.
It's not a good. And I was just about to say, like, bringing it back to the river, like, I don't really go, you know, deeper than my knees when it comes to rivers. You know what I mean? And it's because it doesn't really matter, like, where you are on the river, if it's calm, if it's deeper than your knees, like, you could get taken, and you would never know. You know,
Well,
like.
an untracked river, like we've
I don't go in those.
yeah, we've been on, like, we go to the same river every single year since
Yeah.
like we were basically born. We've still had people get stuck in that river
Yeah.
in weird situations. Like
Yeah.
No,
whether the river
100%.
changed a little bit, like I remember there was one deep spot. My brother's friend got his kayak, like we couldn't get his kayak to move because there was like a mini whirlpool that was keeping him in place and nobody could fucking get him out of it.
That
And
sounds
it's like,
terrifying.
Yeah.
and like thankfully, like the river is very shallow. Like maybe in that spot it was like 6 feet deep or something, which
Okay.
like is deeper. Like there had a couple deep spots. And we knew that as soon as we could get him, but it was like we spent so long just trying to get him off of this one spot in the river
And that's on
that
the
like probably
laziest
wasn't
of
even
rivers.
there the next year. On the laziest of fucking rivers that we had already by like age 16 probably is when that happened for you. Like we had already mastered that river. So like we had already been down it like 10 times at that point. Like at least in our life. So you just never fucking know when it comes to water, especially like murky waters, especially waters from way back when no one's ever even fucking seen that river water before. Who knows what's in it? We still don't know.
Kappas.
Water's terrifying.
Definitely Kappas.
Definitely.
They'd be in there.
They are there.
Kappas can see underwater because they have a translucent eyelid.
I
Oh,
love those.
those are
I don't know
fun.
if you guys read that. I mean, at least
maybe.
D&D lore.
No, I think that makes sense. A lot of like underwater creatures do. I know dragons do and flying creatures do because of like the wind.
The Yetis do.
Yeah,
the Yetis do
that
because of the chilled
totally
wind.
makes sense.
Yeah, I couldn't
It, like,
remember if
helps
I read that for
people.
Kappas or something else, but I think I read it for Yetis. Yeah, I mean, they're literally like beware of the Kappa signs posted on rivers and lakes and stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm kind of into that. That's really fun.
That's like,
Like ingrain that into like your subculture so that like you can not only ironically post things about it, but like also unironically post it.
yeah,
You
people.
know?
I think people really think it's there. I mean, sometimes
Yeah.
that's
Right.
like having beware of Bigfoot signs on trails and shit. It's like no one's ever actually.
I mean, I'm
seen it.
sure that there's like beware of the Jersey Devil signs in Jersey.
Probably, yeah.
I'm sure. I mean, there's Bigfoot crossing signs. They
No,
there's
yeah.
freaking like beware of extraterrestrial life in Nevada. Like there's signs anywhere there's rumor, there's a sign to beware of it. Also, I just read that in the environments where humans would settle near water where there was already kappas, to coexist, they would write or carve their family name into like food items, like off whatever their offering is, and they would throw it in the water so that way they knew who the offering was from,
Yep.
like the kappas did. And I'm
Yep.
like, that begs the question: how many languages do Kappa know, and can Kappa read?
Probably.
That's a good question.
I actually don't know.
It kind of
I would
seems like they
imagine they
can
have-
speak the language of the
The
land.
common language almost.
Yeah.
Because I
But
mean, it
does that
seems.
mean they can read?
I would assume
They know they're smart.
I've heard some things where it's like they are the yokai of like water deity,
Yep.
and that they also are like one step away from the water yokai
Hmm.
deity, and that like they commune with that deity, and that like. So I'm assuming that there's like some greater intelligence with them that gives them the ability to basically like fey you. You know what I mean? Like meet
Yeah.
you where you are and basically enter into deals like no matter what language you speak or what, you know?
Yeah,
I would
they
think
are
so.
very fey in nature. I mean, at least like in similarities, like the pranks that go a little bit too far, and the deals, and the like being
Mhm.
bound to certain things through contracts.
And like the weird quirky weaknesses and
Yeah.
where they live and
Yeah.
I see, but I do feel like, as far as like our lore, I agree. As far as D&D lore, I feel like they lean more towards like goblin-esque creatures than they do
Sure. Yeah,
like
they are very evil sounding in the D&D lore.
yeah, like they're more like they're almost more like slightly trickstery, but just more of a slight more of a menace. Like you have to do a little bit more to appease them, I think.
like not so much violent as goblins, but like also not so like easy to barter with as like the human lore.
Yeah, like less like less fey dealy as much as like I'm going as more of like a shady deal than a fey deal. Like it's more of like a trick. Like it's more of a trick than like a miss. Like oh, you just didn't listen to the words that I said. Like the fey do kind of things.
It's like a
They're like,
fey,
I'm gonna
fey
hide in your
goblin
toilet.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I feel like it's just a little bit more brute than it is like the elegance of the Fae. Like I just feel like that aspect is less there than, and
That
I
makes
feel like
sense.
you have to have like that cunning elegance in Fae nature to make those kind of deals where like the people think you're not even doing anything essentially.
Yeah,
Like our
like they
goddamn
lack the
party in the Feywild.
sinister aspect
Hmm.
that they
It's-
do. You know?
Yeah, like they're less like they're less inconspicuously sinister and more
Yeah.
like you have to look at them and you're like, this is a bad creature unless I do the right things and befriend it correctly.
Yeah.
Like,
or beat it in a like physical match of some
exactly.
contest.
Yeah, I feel like it's more that. Like, they aren't as like, we're dead as when you see a horde of goblins coming at you. Like, they can be reasoned with a little bit better. But like,
Scared.
I don't know.
you can.
I would be scared if I ran into a Kappa.
Oh, me too. Absolutely.
As me. Maybe
Just
if I
one?
was a adventurer. Well, now that I know about them, maybe not. But like, you see a scaly fish guy crawl out of the water, and like they're cute in the cartoony depictions, but seeing one in real life would probably be fucking terrifying.
Okay, especially like the like Japanese lore ones. Those are. I'm sharing my screen so you guys know which one I'm talking about. These ones are
Oh yeah,
like even creepier, I feel like.
that's one of the first like depictions of one, like drawings of one.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which I feel like the first is sometimes probably the most accurate. Like,
well, honestly, it makes me think of like the shelled dinosaurs. There was certain.
With, like, weird.
Yeah, I mean, it could have found that, like something that was similar to that, or seen it at a distance, or seen like the remains of one, of like a ancient creature, because I'm pretty sure there was like lizards on all fours that had shells.
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. Yeah, no, I just find that very
That's
very
scary as hell.
Scary as fuck.
Well,
They're
the river, I would be terrified. But if the second version walked up,
Yeah, just like
I'd be
a silly, goofy guy walking up with water on his head. Yeah, maybe
I'd be
not.
like, all right, well, either I'm going to be very polite, or I'm going to run away because you probably can't catch me.
No, I saw like a 5e. Someone made like a template for the Kappa as a playable race, and it was like they didn't have very much movement speed. They had a lot of swim speed, but
they were also like much more cutesy.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
If you're gonna play Kappa, you want the cute one, right? Maybe
Go
not.
Charisma.
Maybe not.
I'm sorry, if I'm gonna play a fucking like
disadvantages on running and jumping. I mean, this water's gonna spill out of your head.
It does make sense. Yeah.
That does make sense. Look, I'm fucking creating a dome around my head.
Yeah,
something.
I'm getting a clear glass bowl and attaching it.
I would spill that shit every day.
Every day.
Every day. You can't lay it out. I guess you sleep in the water.
And like honestly, man, my roles are not consistent enough to be like playing something like that.
Nat 1, spill your water every time.
It is. Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Every time you take
every Nat 1, you're stunned for 10 minutes or until someone fills your head a bowl.
See, I would say like if you roll a Nat 1, you not only spill your bowl, but you get disadvantage on your next day's roll.
I don't want to play that race.
Yeah, because I feel like a threshold could spill your bowl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a 6 and under or something.
Yeah, not to mention if you're knocked prone, stunned, grappled.
And you have no fucking control over that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just fail your save, you're done. I mean,
just stand up straight.
It would be like every single time you spill the water, you're essentially under the charm person spell.
Pretty much. I feel like that's...
No thanks.
No thank you.
Would be a fun NPC. But before we talk about that, I think we should take a short break. Hey guys, welcome to the middle of the episode. Kappa today. Interesting pick on us. If you would like to hear about something even more interesting, maybe something specific, you can always request a certain monster or topic. And you can let us know at morningswmonsters@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you, get some feedback, chat, whatever. And we just have to give a shout out to @MizenCake on Instagram for our amazing cover art. As always, thank you so much for listening. I hope you're enjoying the episode so far. And it's about to get weird. Just a warning. Also, audio issues. There was someone mowing the grass outside my house when we recorded this, apparently, and I couldn't scrub all of it. So just be warned. Anyways, guys, thank you so much again. Make sure you tell everybody about Mornings with Monsters. That's it. I'll let you get back to the rest of your episode. Enjoy. All right, we've filled the small bowl-shaped crevices in our heads again with coffee and water. And now we're back to discuss the Kappa once again. So, I guess we may have answered this, but where was the first time you saw a Kappa? Or was it not until recently? I guess Bowser.
Until
right?
I was told Bowser was a Kappa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess my whole life, because Bowser.
Yeah, for forever. I guess like the first time I saw a Kappa that I knew this is a Kappa was probably One Piece. And if anyone watches One Piece, that wasn't until like very recently.
Oh, okay. So
in the 1,000 episodes, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
no,
very recently, as of recording this episode, maybe a year.
That's recent for One Piece.
Yeah, I mean, introduced into the main storyline. He's like a main character now, kind of.
Oh, he is.
Not like in the crew, but he's one of the arc that they're in. He's one of the main players and the point of contention for the current ongoings. But he didn't have I don't know if he had a bowl of water on his head, but he was called a Kappa. He had like long blonde hair, and he was a samurai. He was like a total badass. So it was interesting. Cool. Other than that, there was probably like a Kappa in like original Dragon Ball and maybe the fillers or something. But it just seems like something there would be.
Yeah, something that like young Goku killed.
Yeah. Goku fought a lot of like the old school like Japanese monsters.
He killed a lot of.
He killed a lot of them. Yeah, he did.
His kill count in that show is like unreasonable.
Yeah, I mean he even took down like the entire like Dragon Ball version of Nazis like from the top down. Like, yeah.
I think that's why he doesn't kill like in the Z Saga anymore. You know,
he has too much blood on his hands from his childhood.
Yeah, he's done. Like before he controlled himself.
Right, he was a monster.
He was.
So I guess Bowser. I guess everyone who's listening. I mean, you're not listening to this probably and have never played a Nintendo game. Like,
yeah.
If you're listening, maybe.
I would hope so. Come on.
If you're listening to this and you've never seen or heard of Bowser, I'm impressed.
Yeah, like
how did you find us?
I'd love to chat with you.
What's life decisions led you towards listening to this podcast? Okay, so
turns out obviously if we would have grown up in Japan, we would have seen them a lot more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
100%.
I just did a quick little thing to see if there was any. Honestly, the ones that came up are a 2010 movie called Death Kappa.
I heard about
Death Kappa. So like Death Kappa.
Yeah. Death Kappa. It like the poster for it's looking some type of way. It kind of looks like it kind of looks like a fat Godzilla. Like
hell yeah.
That's what it is. They said that it's a Godzilla, but if Godzilla was Kappa.
If Godzilla was fat. And then there's another one, Summer Days with Clue, and that was a 2007 animated movie that looks very cutesy. So I'll just show you that right there real quick.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Wow. That's cool though. I like that
But like
My Kappa
I'll show
companion.
you this one too.
one.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, I kind of want to watch that.
I'm pretty sure that is
Well,
Godzilla in the back.
I mean, it got a 4.6 out of 10. Like, that's not the worst.
That's pretty
for
damn
a
bad.
movie like
That's
this.
horrible.
I mean,
That's less than 50%. I mean,
That
okay,
would
I
be 2.3
like-
out of 5.
what would you expect out of something else from like this?
yeah, you're right. I mean, based off that
You
picture,
expect
maybe a 2 or a
Death
3.
Kappa?
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's where it's going at. Yeah.
I'd almost
2.3.
And
rather
only
watch.
out of 310 ratings. It's not bad.
Oh, okay. So it's not that popular.
It's not like I'm looking at fucking Rotten Tomatoes. That doesn't exist. No. Anyway.
This
Sorry.
is the question I've been a little bit, hesitant to ask because I think this is a harder one with these guys, and also we're gonna have to talk about some stuff that we've been avoiding. Obviously, to those of you who know anything about the Kappa lore, but are they inherently good or evil? And I
They're
would
bad dudes.
I would say okay. Let's just get it over with. We'll talk about the elephant in the room. They like butts.
Yeah,
they really like butts. They like specifically a fantasy organ that apparently is in like the anus. It's like
Yeah.
kind of like sphincter-esque thing. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but they love that stuff. So
They are also saying some places that like it's not anything fantastical, but like a way to your liver, like that they take. Which
yeah,
is
and
weird,
it seems like it's messed up, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I mean, all the things we've talked about so far are doing some pretty fucked up stuff. Like the lich literally has to kill a bunch of different kinds of babies to become a lich.
That's true.
Right?
That's 100% true.
Here's
We're
what
not
I'm saying.
arguing, are they like more evil than a lich?
No, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, this is
Also, like, I mean, they're still creatures. They're still monsters. They just happen to love this one part of the human body. Just like,
Yeah, but dude, they wait in people's toilets.
yeah, because it's the
like-
easiest way to get to it.
Yeah, and see, that's forethought and like.
You know what
And
else
that-
I found out that I wish I didn't know? I guess there used to be a thing called fartists, and they were obviously prey to the Kappa. So they were like masters of flatulence that would make like public shows of it, things like that. I don't know if that's exclusive to like old school Japanese culture, but it came up when I was reading about the Kappas.
I did hear that Kappa are really good at farting.
Yeah. So
There's a saying that
I
like it's basically translates to Kappa fart, right? That they would say in the same way that we would say piece of cake. Like it's as
Yeah.
easy as a Kappa's fart, basically.
Oh.
God.
So they're okay. I don't
So they're
necessarily.
super flatulent.
I'm gonna start saying that and making everyone feel really uncomfortable
Yeah,
because they're
dude.
not gonna know what I'm talking about.
No one's gonna.
Oh
know,
yeah,
and
that's a Kappa's fart. Like what?
Clearly.
Obviously.
walk away with no explanation at all.
So I don't know if that makes them more evil. I mean,
The farting?
no.
I mean, they're
oh.
definitely a chaotic evil, like,
Yeah.
because whether or not, like, their intention is, like, for the deed to be inherently evil, the
The act is.
it might be evil, but their goal is, I think, more chaos than it is evil, which, like, I think chaos sits in its own category outside of good and evil a lot of the times, because like a lot of the time what you're looking for in starting chaos is just something other than what's happening. Whether it be good, whether it be evil, like change can't happen without chaos, and chaos is just like what some creatures crave. And like I'm not even gonna say there's not like a good portion of humans crave chaos too. Like
Yeah, and butt stuff.
and what stuff? Exactly. Don't kill Alex here.
Oh my god. I was not ready for that.
I mean, it's true though. Come on. I don't think I agree, but I don't even necessarily think I would classify them as chaotic evil. I mean, I think they have a drive. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say they're classified like that's their alignment in D&D.
Yeah. No, I get that. But I'm here. I'm here to break that stereotype.
Actually, in third edition, they did break the stereotype. They said usually chaotic neutral.
Yeah, and I was gonna say
I think
that makes more sense to me because they don't give me the vibe of like, hey, I'm gonna do this thing because fuck it and fuck you. They give me more of the vibe of like doing shit for no reason this way or that way, like at least in the alignment sense. But
yeah,
I also see them like going either way. Like if a Kappa tries to steal your butt stuff and you snap off its arm and you give its arm back to him, boom, you got a lifelong companion, which is a weird, super niche thing, but apparently that's the way to do it. I mean,
that's still up to you though to trust that.
That's true.
It is a lifelong companion, and like he did just.
You're not going to steal your butt.
He just tried to steal your butt stuff.
Yeah, and like, would he? That's the thing. Is that a promise that he would not steal your butt after that?
I mean, maybe you'd be willing to give him your butt stuff after a while, like you build that companionship. No, I'm just messing around. But but I don't think they're all bad, right? They have this weird thing in them that makes them want to attack you for that, but like they're also said to be like extremely polite. Like like the main way to like beat the Kappa is just to bow to it, because they basically are forced to bow back. Yeah, they have to bow back, and then boom, their head juice is gone, and now
really, there's no protection past that. Like
it's everything I've read says
they bow back. Yeah,
like, they have to. They're like compelled.
Yeah.
Why do they like wrestling?
That's the part I really don't get. Like, why do they enjoy wrestling? Why do they like doing these games that require them to do things to leave themselves powerless?
So immediately, yeah.
But I mean, imagine like you're a Kappa and like you're pretty badass, you know, and like you can wrestle while keeping your head like level.
Maybe that's what it is. Like it's a way
to test for them.
Now, like in Japanese culture, a lot of the time, like you still keep your head straight up. Like it's like one of those. Like
I mean, maybe it sounds like the bow that they're doing spills the water, but like maybe when they're sumo wrestling, it's like a point of maybe that's how cool of a Kappa you are in Kappa society, is like it's kind of like the Dothraki in the Game of Thrones, like never cut your beard, like never spill your water kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. I am a Kappa who has never spilled.
You see that one over there with the scar? He's never spilled his water. Sounds less cool,
but
say
he has a leaf from 1,000 years ago, just floating there.
I believe there's moss growing on the bottom of his scalp.
They do have to like go back and replenish it.
Yeah, no, I know. And underwater, you can't really fuck with them. I mean, they're faster than you underwater, and
they're stronger than
that's
you.
Where you don't want to see them.
They put in their head underwater.
Ideally, you want to see them like at like a chessboard or like shogi, or that's where you want to fight them. Is at a game, because like they love that shit, which is weird.
They do, like a lot.
Yeah, and
it's why I keep going back to them being Fae, because like they might be shitty, but like
they love some chess.
They still like to fuck with games and chants, and like they're slaves to etiquette, that's a big thing for me when it comes to Fae. Like they're very polite, and most regular Fae are like polite on a like veiled sense. Yeah. But these things are like polite to a fault, which is hilarious.
It is really funny.
Still very like pixie like.
I think that's what I just didn't like. I didn't I don't know if I just didn't read this. Like, we didn't all read the same exact stuff for this.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get that type of etiquette vibe from them, and it might just be like I'm blocked from the appearance of them. Just like they don't look like a creature that would have that much etiquette or
No.
like that
Yeah.
much. Like I feel like they would have, like they might be like a creature of their word, like kind of thing.
Sure.
Like they're not cheaters or anything.
Like a sphinx
But-
or something, but
Yeah, like they're not like almost. But it to
They're
me,
not
it
going to
almost
cheat you. They're still going to kill you, though.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they have more smarts than goblins, but they just don't.
I
They
get that,
don't-
though, because
Cunningness doesn't seem to come close to Fae for me.
it doesn't,
personally.
because you read a lot of the D&D side of things, so there's
Yeah.
none of that. There's none of that, like,
and see, I read
lore in the
barely
D&D.
any of the D&D.
Yeah, same. I
You
went
know,
down the
That's
rabbit
what I
hole.
figured. That's why I
of-
went down D&D stuff.
Yeah.
And they're way more developed as like a magical creature in real life lore, so it's hard to reconcile in that difference.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
for
kind of
me,
the
it's like,
opposite of some of the
I-
other stuff we've talked about.
Yeah.
You guys both came to me with the research saying that we were researching a problematic creature. So I went D&D route because like I knew
Fair.
that D&D for me personally, like not only as like a D&D player but also like as a female, I was like I'm going to go down this route because like I know that it will just be easier for my brain to focus on like these aspects of the Kappa. Like I obviously still can hear the menacing like nature of their lore
Yeah.
and whatnot and where it comes from, and I can still read on that, but like it's just not like my favorite thing.
No, I get it. I mean,
So I mean I do like sticking to a lot of the D&DS things because those are the ones that like I can make a little bit more sense of it. Like I really enjoy the real lore, especially Japanese lore. But I mentioned it a little bit on the break. It's like depending on who came across it, when they came across it, like especially Japanese lore, like that shit's so old. Like
Yeah.
it's from so long ago. I don't even know what the most recent record is of like a story or anything. Cause yeah, their stories, their tales, they everything is we can't say like we want to say Bigfoot's real, we want to say Cyclops exists. Like I believe that there was a world before like the one that we view now,
Yeah.
but I don't know how in depth that goes. Like
yeah.
so I don't know. It's like it's such a weird wrestling between like, well, if I read this folklore that is Japanese folklore, like how much am I going to allow myself to say like this is like shit people experienced and then they like made a creature to like excuse it or make sense of it or blah blah blah, like
Yeah.
it's just like lore that all started because like somebody's daughter drowned in a river and they were like, I have 6 other kids, how am I not
That's
going
pretty
to
much it.
near the water? Like
Honestly,
which
yeah.
I'm sure was more the case, but then and so it just like spirals into this like
What else are
this
they blaming
creature
it
and
on?
it's like it's absolutely, I mean, and we can argue that that's how every creature and concept is born.
Yeah,
so yeah,
out of
I
fear
guess-
or out of reason, you know.
Yeah.
Like out of
I will say the one aspect that I think does bring the Kappa closer to the Fae in D&D lore is that they, depending on, there's like a subsection that can use magic.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, cool. I mean, I feel like they are. I'm not that surprised by that. Like the Kappas seem like they would be able to use
Are
magic.
magical creatures, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think they can use some type of magic, but only while they have the water in their bowl, kind of thing.
Yeah. And they have to be, I'm sure I think it's one of those like,
What a weird arcane focus. The bowl of water
bowl
on
of
your
water?
head. Yeah.
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 Hmm.
I'm guessing it's probably also like one of those it has to be somebody who has been able to like keep their water in their bowl. Their water has to be like
Yeah,
so whatever.
from their homeland or their river of birth. Hopefully, it didn't dry up.
That's cool.
So I feel like we kind of talked about why they're misunderstood.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've really talked about underrated or overrated, and I think this is more from a cultural standpoint. Like
Yeah.
in the East, probably overrated. In the West, severely
Definitely
underrated.
Yep.
Like
yeah.
we don't even know what they are. I mean, we didn't
Yeah.
even know what they are.
You don't use
really.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're not used. I think they are a very interesting concept, most parts of them, and they could be
We
used a
should
lot
get
more.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've come to this crossroads the end of the road that we always end up at. Once again, I'll be asking you guys, how would you like to see them used in media or gameplay? I have a pretty basic one this time of how I
Go
would
for
like
it.
to see them used. I don't know. I feel like it's less creative, but like I was saying, I feel like they're very underrated in certain senses, and as they just make so much sense to me to be like the big bad at the end of a level 3 module, you know.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm saying like, so you get your goblins, you kill your goblins with a sword, right? You get your kobolds, you kill them with your magic sword, right? Like there's pretty simple solutions for those things, like smash, whatever. With the Kappa, you got to be a little bit more creative, because I'm assuming that if I haven't memorized the whole stat block or anything, but I'm saying I know there's like a vampiric version of the Kappa in D&D, so you could like throw that in there. But I think it would be interesting, like there's this thing in the swamps that's been like stealing livestock, and like children have gone missing, so you're tasked to investigate it, and like you slowly learn like weird things somehow through the module, and eventually it all kind of like comes to a point where you're fighting this Kappa that is more powerful than your party should be able to defeat, because I think this creature has like built in like interesting gameplay. Like you wouldn't know, but like if you bow to it, you've defeated it, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's a
Yeah.
really interesting concept. If you steal its arm, so you make its arm really easy to pop off, you know? Like if you slash
Like one
it.
strength.
Yeah.
Like challenge would be easy.
Yeah, like
you know?
if like the barbarian sacrifices themselves and does a grapple attempt, like maybe make its arm pop off on a good roll, and then
Yeah.
like I don't know, give your party a vampire Kappa companion for a little while, or like it's so underused. Like it's just such an interesting thing. Like it's like this creature that's can be very dangerous, but easily defeated through cunning. Like I
Yeah.
always enjoy the encounters that are solved through like players playing the game in a way that's like more interesting than just kill it. Like if you can defeat an encounter and not have to like just attack the entire time, that's more interesting to me. And it just seems like a great opportunity in early in a campaign to like get those creative tactics going. So that's all I had really for the Kappa. I mean, I feel like a lot of you could make a comedy, I guess, with them, but that might get a little weird, or like a slice of life, like
Slapsticky.
found a Kappa. Now we're best friends, and it's an anime with a good music score. Yeah, you guys got anything?
I feel like it'd be cool to see like a small homestead settlement like next to a body of water, and like throughout like over so many generations, the task of like offerings has only been left to one person in the family. So like only one person is like aware that these exist. And like even then they're not even necessarily aware of it by the time that it's their turn. Like they've never seen them. They just randomly throw these offerings into the water in hopes that they will never see them and they will never come out. But then this person dies
Oh no.
and never tells, like unexpectedly, like, gets whatever, like killed by bandits or something. And then like this small homestead of like whatever, or even if it was like a guild hall or something or whatever it was, the next thing you know, you just have like a horde of kappas coming at you from the water, and you have to either figure out what, how, why, when, where.
That kind of gives me a Jaws vibe, like a fear of the unseen until it's seen.
Yeah. That's
really cool idea. Like the key to not having this terrible thing happen is held by one person, and since they never told anyone and they were killed unexpectedly, the the family secret wasn't passed down. That's always a scary thing to me. Like if there's a family secret, you got to tell like at least 2 people, right?
Well, I mean,
but if you don't, it's more interesting.
It's like that's how the Song of Ice and Fire gets lost eventually, and like
that's literally what it made me think of.
I mean, like I thought of that as I was saying, and I was like, oh, it's kind of like.
And then the dagger ends up in the wrong hands, and then eventually the right hands. But yeah, I mean, it's just you play a dangerous game when you pass on a super important secret from one person to one person.
You play a dangerous game when you keep secrets.
Yeah, it's true. Life lesson.
Not saying that they're not necessary at some points, but like it's a dangerous game for sure, because you never fucking know what could happen.
When you play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die.
Clearly, all nerds. Any media viewing for you, Alex?
It'd be funny to like come across a like small village of Kappa who like give no fucks about like etiquette or any of that, and like you could bow all day to them, but like all they're gonna do is like go back to working out their shoulder ligaments so that their arms don't come off. And
you just got a group of swole, enlightened Kappa.
Yeah, basically tell you to go fuck yourself if you're not here to lift or like be nice.
We ain't no fucking nerds. We're not playing chess with you.
We don't give a shit about kids. You want to lift more than me, bro? Huh?
Sumo wrestle? I think not. MMA, but
Kappa hippos.
Yes.
That'd be.
Oh my god.
I would love to see that.
What's the? We'll just make a frat house full of Kappa.
That'd be hilarious.
Oh, Kappa. Yeah, I mean they
Kappa.
Kappa. Yeah, they already got the name.
The Kappa house.
Oh god, it's terrible.
All right.
And like they're all like, "Wait, King, your water. It's about to fall."
Gosh.
We don't bench press.
Yeah, exactly.
Their neck muscles are just so strong. So never like my head never falls.
I never spill my water, bro.
Oh, gosh.
That was cool.
All right. Well, I finally finished scaling this fish, and it kind of looks like Mornings with Monsters. So I'm gonna try and throw it into the river to appease the Kappas.
Yes.
Well,
Bless us, Kappas.
You'll have to tune in next week if we're still around with all of our butt stuff. Sorry for all of that talk. That's gonna do it, I think. For Mornings with Monsters this week. We will see you next week with a new, exciting, and spooky monster.
Woohoo!
I'm Dylan.
I'm Melina.
And I'm Alex.
And we will see you next time.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
Bye.